I'm going to start the meeting with a call to order. Doing a roll call to establish the quorum. Present?
Yeah, Orbit present. I'm present.
Okay,
Ted Davis, I'm present.
perfect. And then I'm also, next order of business is an approval of the minutes.
Sure, if I may I make a motion to approve the minutes as published? In the notes here.
Okay. Anyone second?
Second.
Perfect, the approval of the minutes are approved. All right, now, old business is concluded. Now we have new business here. For our new order of business, I'd like to welcome new member, Mr. Ted Davis.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Likewise, good to have you. Look forward to working with you
Very good to have you.
in the future as well.
If I can say up front,
Absolutely.
just appreciate you guys, how you prepared me as a professional staff. I mean, your handiwork is incredible. It's well organized.
Good.
I assume it's accurate. It's,
That's a
you
mix
laid it
to
out,
pay off
so
not having our
clearly.
planning assistant, so.
I mean, that was.
I will say, working with Michelle's been
Thank
good. I've been
you.
working here with you about a
This
year,
is-
and you've always been on top of your game. So you've been
Yeah,
Thank you.
very good and very helpful
Appreciate it.
at
quite
everything. Yeah.
impressive, I gotta say.
Okay. So now, as our next order on new business, this is 2025-11 BZA, 1354 Ohio Street. We're holding a public hearing for case number 2025-11 BZA, 1354 Ohio Street, wherein the applicant is seeking a variance from sections 4.03 and 5.03 of the adopted development regulations to allow a reduction in the 75-foot minimum lot width requirement and to allow a gravel driveway in the required front yard. That will lead to a paved parking area in the rear yard or a paved driveway in the front yard that will not lead to a garage, carport, alley, or rear yard parking area for property located in the R1-9 medium-density single-family residential district, zoning district.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. So now I'd like to do a call to order and approval of the minutes.
No, so I'll just go ahead and start with the staff report
Okay.
for that, for this public hearing. Okay, so, like Vice Chair Boland said, that the applicant is requesting a variance to allow a reduction in the 75-foot minimum lot width and property that's zoned R1-9, and to allow a variance for the driveway requirement. So the property is located at 1354 Ohio Street. It's zoned R1-9, which is medium density, single-family residential. The lot is a vacant lot that is 0.34 acres in size. The property is surrounded by single-family homes, with the exception of the Stonley Court Apartments and the Medical Lodge that's located to the south. So here's the Medical Lodge here, and then Stonley Apartments are over here. So the applicant, Jack Shoemaker, is in the process of purchasing the vacant lot with the intention of building a single-family home on the property. The proposed home will be an approximately 1,000 square foot, excuse me, one story with a recessed front porch that's compatible and reinforces the overall character of the block in the neighborhood. He's actually requesting two separate variances. So when you go through the voting process, you will vote on the variances separately.
Okay.
So the first variance he's requesting is for a reduction in the 75-foot lot width. He wants to reduce it by 15 feet, so it'd actually be 60 feet. Of the 10 properties located right here in this neighborhood, just right here on this block, only one of the 10 meets that 75-foot lot width requirement.
Just
With
out
the
of curiosity, were those built before this regulation for 75 feet, or?
Yes, they've been there for, yes, quite some time. And then the average lot width being 61 feet. The building line will be set back 25 feet, which does meet the front yard requirement for the R19. So table 4-01 of our development regulations lists 75 feet as minimum lot width for R1-9 zoning. So the second variance is for the driveway requirement. So to meet the 2 off-street parking requirement for single-family homes, the applicant is requesting a variance from the driveway requirement to, so the first, he has 2 options here. His first option, he is to allow a paved driveway that is adjacent to the front wall of the home but does not lead to a garage or carport. And then his option 2 that he's proposing is to extend the existing gravel driveway to a paved parking area in the rear yard. The property directly to the west of the subject property, get that out of that. So this property right here does currently have a existing non-conforming gravel driveway that leads to a rear detached garage. Table 5-01 of the regulations lists off-street parking requirement, like I said, for a single-family home is 2. Section 5.03B of the development regulations states that surfaces and markings, all off-street parking areas and driveways shall be surfaced and provided with a minimum of, for residential parking, it's 6 inches of Portland cement concrete or 4 inches of stone and 4 inches of asphalt. Any other alternative paving materials such as pavers may be approved for single-family residences after review by the Public Works Director. It further states that a gravel parking pad in the rear yard may be installed with a border to contain the gravel. Such gravel parking pad must be accessed directly off the alley and may be a maximum depth of 37 feet, measured from the rear property line. Article 12 of the regulations defines driveway as a private lane which leads from a street or an alley to a garage, carport, rear yard parking area, a parking space established in accordance with the provisions of this ordinance, or to another street or alley. Such driveway may extend in front of, alongside of, or in the rear of a principal structure, either planned for or erected upon a building site. So we did send the notifications to the property owners within 200 feet of subject property. Staff has received no comments. Staff also sat there and provided our comments to the 5 criteria that you guys, or 5 conditions you guys will be voting on. So if you have any questions or concerns about what staff comments are, we're here to address that. And the applicant and the property owner are here as well.
Okay, so I'd like to open up the floor. If you guys have anything that you would like to say, you can approach the podium now if you want. Do you guys have anything?
First, you can open it up for just,
Open the public hearing.
you can open the public hearing if you want. Yeah, that may be.
Yes, at this time I want to open up a public hearing. So if you guys have anything you would like to say, you can approach the podium at this time.
You have anything you want to like?
You have anything you'd like to share?
Well, I don't have anything other than what she said, but,
Here for questions?
if you want me to explain
Yeah,
it
you
again.
could go.
Yeah, if you have any questions or would like to say anything, I would encourage you to go to the podium.
Yeah, state your name and
Okay.
address, please, and then give us your.
The lot's 60 foot wide, and the house that we're
Excuse me,
proposing.
Jack.
Oh, please state your name.
Yeah, you need to state your name and your current address, just for the record.
Okay, my name's Jack Shoemaker, address 404 Logan, Leavenworth, Kansas.
You're the property owner then?
No, I'm the
No,
property.
he's the property owner,
Okay,
Are you selling the property to this man?
No,
vice versa.
Vice versa? You are selling to Mr. Shoemaker?
if it is allowed to have this house put on it, then I will sell it to him.
Okay, thank you.
He doesn't want to buy a unbuildable lot, is what we're saying.
Right, unbuildable. Yeah.
Right.
Right, okay,
okay.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. So we're proposing to build, on the 60-foot lot, the home would be 26 foot wide and 40 foot deep, kind of what they call a shotgun house. That way it'll leave approximately 14 foot on one side of the house and 20 foot on the other side of the house. So you have plenty of setbacks on each side, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And then on the driveway, we want to build a garage, not at this time, but in the near future. And we hate to pour the concrete driveway all the way back because we're going to have to run concrete trucks back there to pour the floor for the garage. And so we don't want to tear up the driveway getting concrete trucks back there, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Yes.
And, you know, not to point fingers, but the neighbor to the west has a gravel driveway that goes back to his garage. And then he's got a concrete pad in front of the garage. So, but I mean, on the driveway, that's, you know, that's not gonna be a deal breaker if we get the variance or not.
So what we're looking at right now,
So this is the property to the west.
right,
That's their existing non-conforming gravel driveway.
right,
And this
okay.
is the vacant lot that he is looking at
Okay.
purchasing.
So that driveway you're pointing out is just as a, here's something that's out of zoning regulations, but it has no bearing on what you're gonna do. That driveway, the one that's not in compliance,
This
it
one.
has nothing to do with the new.
Are you talking about this one right here on the vacant lot he's looking to
No, no,
purchase?
No, the one next door.
Maybe I can
Correct,
answer
correct.
that question.
Yep, this
Yeah,
is
that
just
one has-
existing
It has
non-conforming.
nothing to do with the new construction.
No,
It's just an example of.
that yes, on this block, there is
Yeah.
one existing non-conforming
All right,
driveway.
thanks, appreciate that.
And on the vacant lot, there was an existing home there that was tore down 2012.
2012, it
Yeah.
was tore down. And that's why the driveway is still visible there.
Okay.
They took the house out. Now, that house, he's done some exploring on that. There was never a sewer, we assume, run to the city sewer now, and I think this old house predates that. So we've never found a sewer there. I believe that it was probably on a septic tank. So this is upgrading quite a little bit from what was there years ago.
So then, it will need plumbing also then, it ties in.
As
to
anybody
city
would
sewer.
building a house, to meet codes, you have to have
Yes.
plumbing, access to water.
Would you mind approaching the podium, sir?
on the record, you have to.
Okay.
Can I get you on the record?
It will be tied into the sewer,
Yes, sir.
to
Okay.
the main sewer.
Okay,
It'll go through the permitting process
understood.
for building the home.
Okay. Did you have anything else, sir, that you wanted to say? Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. Sir, do you have anything else?
I will speak.
Perfect. Okay.
Please start with your name.
My name is Jim Smithling. I live at 806 North 20th Street. I bought this lot, and there's some variation, either in 2020 or in 2021. And the reason that there's a variation there is the owner lives in the village in Florida, and we were doing back and forth negotiating. I think it was probably 2021 when I actually signed the papers, but it's been there. From that guy, and I used to do work for him, I was in the construction business. His name was George Angel. He was retired military, and he did some rental properties and whatnot. He claimed this to be his mother's house. where in fact she never spent a night in that house because she was put in a nursing home before she could ever move in, and passed away. He looked at the cost of remodeling the old house, and he thought his best option was to tear it down, and he did that in 2012, and at that time he still lived in Leavenworth. Now that's what you notice on this property. There's still a mailbox in place, and if you look straight back on the right-hand side, you'll find that the power pole is still back there at the same place that the, should be able to see it.
It's, I think, there it is, right there.
So what I'm saying is it's been residential, there's been a house on it.
Okay.
There is, now, let's talk about how this affects the city. When I bought it, my intention was to build a rental on it. Two things happened since then. Number one, I got old, which I was old to begin with. I used to do things like that. I have a few rentals around town and one thing and another. I bought the thing I thought would be an easy one. Well, I did business with a lady by the name of Julie Hurley, who had her job at the time. And when I bought it, to make sure that something could be done, I went and talked to her, and she gave me this. And what this says is, yes, and what she wrote on it was legal non-conforming lot. And that's what we're talking about. It was legal to build on, but it's non-conforming, and since then, we've gone to 75 foot instead of 60 foot. What Mr. Shoemaker is asking to do, to be more in line with actually in that neighborhood. Very few 75-foot lots anywhere in that neighborhood. Now, the advantages and disadvantages. As I say, I was going to build on it. Age was one. The other one was my neighbor next door some time ago asked me if he could park an extra car over on that driveway. Well, I went through 3 court dates and $220 plus court cost in order to try to get that as a driveway, which there's other people park on old rock driveways. They wouldn't let me, so I said to myself, I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to sell that lot, wait for the guy on the right-hand side who owns about 5 acres. Nothing stays the same. That will turn into something other than brush, which it is now. Or the strange thing is when they came upon telling me that it wasn't conforming, and that was all because of different changes in the city. But here's the thing. When I got it, the taxes, I paid $300 and I've got it here, $300 and some odd dollars. I went and saw the county. I said, this is a lot that they have restrictions on, and I can't get a building permit at this time. They lowered it to $190, which is what I've paid for the last 3 years. The very day that that happened, Leavenworth Times ran a front page thing about the budget in the city. They weren't able to reach their budget. Well, the city needs money. What's the best way to do it? I'm paying $190. If I let this lot go back to the city, they're going to get nothing. You put a new house on it, now you can be taxed for that new house indefinitely in the future. looks like a win situation for the city to me. The neighbors I've always got along with good over there, and as a matter of fact, that neighbor that I let park on that thing, he's been cutting the grass for the last 3 years. He likes it there, you know. He always said, I'd like to build, get it myself and build a shop over there. Well, I'm not sure that that would pass either, so we got to find out where we are. So anyway, if you have any questions for me, now's the time. That's the way I look at it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. If no one has any other questions at this time, I will close the public hearing at this time. Okay. So
You just
now,
you want to have discussion,
oh,
open up discussion amongst the commissioners.
at this time, I want to open up any discussions amongst the commissioners.
Well, sure.
And if you have any questions for staff as well, I mean,
I
this is,
do have some questions for staff. I'm just curious as to what is staff's preference on the driveway is as far as, or the parking place, as shown on the pictures, drawn pictures there. Is it easier, or is it conform more? I mean, non-conforming is non-conforming, but what is the staff's position on the concrete pad in the front, vice a gravel driveway to the back of the house, and with a pad there, or at least a parking place there of gravel consistency, and park there? So, I mean, I'm just curious, because essentially you've given us a choice on, it's going to be non-conforming, and so that's why we've got a variance, or a request for a variance, which was, what's the staff's perception or opinion on that?
what,
Maybe because
So we actually found that neither one of them met all of the criteria required to approve a variance. And it's our finding that it is feasible, that what is required is a hard surface driveway to either a rear parking pad or a covered parking space such as a garage or carport. It's our finding that that is feasible on this site.
So it's feasible to have a variance.
We think it's feasible that they could meet the code related to having a hard surface drive that either leads to a rear yard parking area or a carport or driveway. So we are actually not in finding that either one of them meets all of the required criteria for a variance.
okay, actually, you helped me establish my opinion on that, and I appreciate that. But I can see that neither one was going to be exactly per code. Okay?
And I actually do think we'll probably need to take 3 separate votes, one for the driveway width, or one for the lot width, and then specify which driveway option you're reviewing, and then do the third one, or the
As a
second
house,
one.
right?
Because you guys may find differently than we did.
Yes, ma'am. That's where I have no more questions.
Do you have any questions at all, sir?
I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying, because what you said was different from how I interpreted what you wrote. So you're saying that both driveway options are not in compliance, and it is feasible for them to build a driveway that is compliant.
Yeah, so if you look at the different criteria that Michelle had written, there are,
What page are we on?
so this is,
so C
yeah,
is one of them.
criteria number C, for example, is one. We didn't find that, there are topographic challenges that would make it difficult to extend the driveway all to the back. I think it makes sense that he in the future wants to extend it and doesn't want to have it tore up, so I do think that makes sense, but we don't see, because cost and things like that is not a factor that we evaluate based on.
Right.
Right.
So that's why, based on our evaluation, we do think it's feasible.
Right. So your
There's
issue is
plenty of
not the
space
timing
in the
of when he
back.
might build put in a driveway, it's
Yeah,
when they do.
and there's,
Well, in our regulations, it does state that when you're building a home, that at that time is when you're to build the driveway. You can't build a home and then wait a year, 2 years, 5 years and construct a driveway.
Right.
It's all
unless you get a
inclusive,
variance.
Right.
unless you have a variance.
So we could even establish within the variance, the sequence of that driveway being built to standard, at least to the regulation, and when the pad would have to be laid, so I have, as well as assistance, per the regulation.
Yeah, we think that would be difficult for us to track and say, for example, if it doesn't get built in 12 months, we
Right.
would really struggle to enforce that. We'd have to enforce through probably our code enforcement means, and I think
Yes.
if we permit it to be not to code, it would be difficult to come back and say, just to keep that kind of on our minds all the time.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's fair. Does anyone have
And
any?
not only that, but who knows what can happen in 12 months or 18 months?
Exactly,
I mean-
yeah.
It's kind of hard to hold, somebody's feet to the fire if, financially, if something happened, you just don't know.
Okay.
I agree with that,
So
yeah.
the code is that when they build the house, they need to put in the driveway, and it's up to them if they want to take it all the way back to where the pad would be. But they at least need to put in a driveway to be compliant. It's got to be
To
a
be compliant, it
driveway,
has to be a paved driveway.
paved driveway in conjunction with building the house.
Yes, and the paved driveway has to either lead to a garage, carport, or rear parking area. So what they have here is, so this is one of the options. Here you can see the concrete. So right here, this is the street line. This here is the 25-foot setback, or I guess that's the property line. Here's a concrete pad. So on option one, they're proposing to do a concrete pad all the way up and stop right here at the front wall of the house.
Right.
Our regulations would require this to lead all the way back to a parking area, a paid parking area back here, or a detached garage or carport.
Okay, so the regulation requires that.
Yes.
I'd ask why, but it's immaterial. Okay. All right. Thank you for the clarity.
Yeah, and again, you guys can put, conditions, if you
Yep.
wanted to, prove a concrete pad, but, maybe give them a little leeway and say you can create this or make it come back at least, back to the back wall of the house or halfway through. You guys have the authority to put in any sort of conditions or stipulations like that
Okay.
as you feel necessary.
So definitely keep that in mind when we're going over these three different agenda items, for sure.
Okay.
Commissioners, you guys have anything else that you would like to say? Any other questions? Anything else you'd like to discuss?
For sure.
Okay. Then at this time, I'm closing discussion amongst the commissioners. So now at this time, I would like to come to the authority of the Board of Zoning Appeals. So it clearly states the board's authority in this matter is contained in Article 15, which is the Board of Zoning Appeals, Section 11.03.b, which is the powers and jurisdictions, which encompasses the variances. For variances, to authorize in specific cases a variance from the specific terms of development regulations, which will not be contrary to the public interest and where, owing the special conditions, a literal enforcement of the provisions of these development regulations will in an individual case result in unnecessary hardship, provided the spirit of these development regulations shall be observed, public safety and welfare secured, and substantial justice done. Such variance shall not permit any use not permitted by the development regulations of the city of Leavenworth, Kansas in such district. Rather, variances shall only be granted for the detailed requirements of the district such as area, bulk, yard parking or screening requirements. So now we come to the actual voting. Number 1, that the variance requested arises from such condition.
Excuse me, can you state which variance you're
Sure.
you're doing now?
Okay. So the first one, did you want to do the first one for the actual building of the house?
Right, well.
Well, it's the lot width.
The width.
The lot width, okay. So we're gonna be voting on the lot width for the first one, the first order of business. So as we come through our voting criteria for voting on the lot width, we come to number 1, that the variance requested arises from such condition which is unique to the property in question and is not ordinarily found in the same zone or district and is not created by an action or actions of the property owner or the applicant.
Who do you want to start first? Jan or Tat? If they agree or
Yes.
disagree?
I'll start with you. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I agree.
I agree.
And I agree. Number 2, that the granting of the permit for the variance will not adversely affect the rights of adjacent property owners or residents. And I'll start with you, sir.
Agree?
I agree.
I agree.
Number 3, that the strict application of the provisions of the development regulations from which the variance is requested will constitute unnecessary hardship upon the property owner represented in the application. I'll start with you, sir.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
Number 4, that the variance desired will not adversely affect the public health, safety, morals, order, convenience, prosperity, or general welfare.
Agree.
I agree.
I agree.
And then for number 5, that the granting of the variance desired will not be opposed to the general spirit and intent of the development regulations.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
So with that being said, the board votes to approve the building of the house.
The lot width.
Oh, my apologies, the lot width. My apologies there. Yes, yes. Okay, so now for the next order of business, because we're doing a total of 3 different agendas to vote on. Now for.
Or if you guys wanted to suggest your own modification to the variance or something along those lines, just please clarify
Sure.
what it is that you're voting on.
Sure.
Excuse me, are those 2 written in this packet you provided us?
Which two? The
The 2
driveway?
the driveway?
Yeah, yeah,
It was
so,
written as 2 options.
So,
So the driveway options, if you go on, let me put all this out of order. On the first page of the policy report, it's the second paragraph from the bottom.
okay.
Um,
Okay, but we don't have it written up like you just did for the lot size, with 5 paragraphs.
Yes, I do. So underneath staff comment, underneath those 5, you'll see staff comment, and the first paragraph relates to the lot width. The paragraph underneath that relates to the driveway requirements.
Okay.
In the house, okay.
So now we're talking about the driveway, right?
Yes, we're now on the driveway. We talked about the lot width first, now we're on the driveway. Requirements, yes. Is there anything that you want to discuss in particular about it, or anything like that?
No, other than, I mean, I understood exactly what he was talking about, having cement trucks
Right.
backing up and pouring a foundation, things like that, and they're heavier, they're very heavy. And so you've got anything less some pretty good concrete in there, it very possibly could crack it.
Yes.
However, if we give the variance and they build just simply the pad that they're talking about in the front, right?
Yes.
Build just a pad. Then the planning, your staff doesn't have any way of really following up and enforcing, checking on it.
To force him to do a driveway
do-
later on?
if he's gonna do-
I don't believe so. I mean, you could add that as a stipulation, but I don't know how we could enforce it if he doesn't do it.
Because if we issue the building permit, we don't really have anything to fall back on and say, we'll hold this permit until you put that in, because it would be approved already.
Right.
Or the CO, I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Could I make another suggestion?
Yes, sir.
If we poured the drive,
Would you mind going to the podium for me, sir?
I didn't know,
Okay,
a while ago when you said something about the meeting. Anyway, if we poured the driveway to the front of the house at this point, that would be off-street parking. And most of the houses along there, except for the one next door, they have a garage attached to the house. So their driveway is no longer than what this would be. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So it would be the same amount of space from the street to the front of the house that would be concrete right now. And then, once you could get the garage built, then pour the way up to the existing concrete.
Now, I will state one thing. When he does put in for a building permit for the detached garage, we will not approve that without him concreting the rest of the driveway leading to the garage. And it will all have to be done at once.
okay, so if we were to give the variance and he has part of the driveway, but then he comes back and asks for a permit to build the detached garage, it will be required that he complete the project.
Yes. Because our development regulation states that you have to have a paved driveway leading to.
So if he wants that, eventually he's gonna be in compliance.
If he chooses to follow through with that, if he decides
Right,
he
if
doesn't want
if
to
he's
build
gonna-
it, yeah.
Right, if he's gonna build the detached garage, he has to get a permit, and that's gonna force him into,
Yes, but there is the option that it just stays as a concrete pad forever, if the
Okay.
variance is approved.
Right. You have anything else you wanted to discuss? Okay. Okay. So now we come to our vote on the driveway, the actual driveway requirement itself.
do we have to go with two different votes?
Do you want to vote on both? Is there one that you guys are leaning on more than the other?
Is there?
Yeah, if somebody wants to make a motion, maybe on a certain option.
Sure. What were you thinking? What were you
I'm
thinking?
thinking we need that it should be a concrete pad, and I would say it needs to at least go to the front of the house.
That's my opinion too.
That sounds reasonable to me as well.
Okay, so you guys are going to vote on the driveway
This
with the
option?
concrete pad? Yes, this
Yes.
option is showing up here.
Yes. Okay. So with that being said, we start with number 1. That the variance requested arises from such condition which is unique to the property in question and is not ordinarily found in the same zone or district and is not created by an action or actions of the property owner or the applicant. Start with you, sir.
I agree.
I agree.
Agree?
Number 2, that the granting of the permit for the variance will not adversely affect the rights of adjacent property owners or residents.
Agree?
I agree.
I agree.
Number 3, that the strict application of the provisions of the development regulations from which the variance is requested will constitute unnecessary hardship upon the property owner represented in the application.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
Number 4, that the variance desired will not adversely affect the public health, safety, morals, order, convenience, prosperity, or general welfare.
I
I agree as well.
Agree.
And then number 5, that the granting of the variance desired will not be opposed to the general spirit and intent of the developmental regulations.
Agree.
I also agree.
I agree.
With that being said, the board agrees.
Well, be sure to read number 3.
Number 3, that the strict application,
In granting a variance, the board may impose. Just right below what you were reading.
oh, on point number 3 you were talking about?
Right.
Okay. I think I'm on the actual wrong,
We do need page numbers on here.
I think I'm on the actual wrong side here.
There we go.
Let me see. So it says, in granting a variance, the board may impose such conditions, safeguards, and restrictions upon the premises benefited by the variance as may be necessary to reduce or minimize any potentially injurious effect of such variance upon other property in the neighborhood and to carry out the general purpose and intent of these development regulations.
So if you guys don't have any conditions or restrictions, just state so.
Sir, may I suggest that our variance there, that condition would be, or might be, that if the owner wishes to build a garage behind his home, he would have to pave the rest of the driveway up to the garage. I believe that would.
That's already a requirement.
It's already required, okay, got it.
Okay?
So no other conditions
So
or
no other
restrictions?
conditions.
Okay.
No other conditions or restrictions.
On both, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, so now we come to our last order of business, which is now in reference to the house on the lot.
The lot width,
The
yeah.
lot width, yeah. Okay, so now we go to number 1.
You're just stating that they approve it.
Yes, we
You're
approve.
just stating.
Yes, say we approve it, yes. All right, so now we're on the lot width. Number 1,
So wait,
You already did the lot width, that was the very first one you did.
I think we're done.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
nothing with the house that you're doing.
oh, okay,
yeah, I thought you were just stating the action that the board finds that, approval of the 15-foot reduction and then approval of the concrete
Okay.
drive leading to the house.
I got you, okay.
Just summarized it, basically.
But if we do those two, we're good. But unless,
Yep.
It
that
was
should
just
be
those
good.
two.
You just, let's do, okay. Okay, we're on the same page now, okay.
And then you just need if no other comments or anything, you just need a motion to adjourn.
Okay, is there anything else that you,
sure.
anything else?
Nothing
Okay,
else.
now this time I have a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second,
Meeting adjourned.
All right.
thank you, sir.